So the last essay was kind of a downer, so this time I thought we might do something a little lighter and more fun. Sort of. First things first. Over the last couple of weeks, the world of voice acting had both a celebration and a tragedy. Actor and voice of nearly 3 generations surrogate father figure Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen celebrated his 71st birthday, while just a few days ago at the time of production, Pat Carroll, best known as the voice of Ursula the Sea Witch in Disney's The Little Mermaid and adjacent Disney projects, passed away at the age of 95. Why bring that up? Well, it all has to do with one of my major obsessions, Saturday morning cartoons of the 80s and early 90s. And in this case, we're going to be talking about a specific cartoon from the 80s in which both Pat Carroll and Peter Cullen played the bad guys. So it seems fitting to insert the following title card for what may become the occasional recurring segment on this channel. Pound Puppies, stay with me, this will make sense in a minute. Pound Puppies was a ludicrously successful plush toy line produced by Tonka in the United States, which more or less decided to try the same shtick the Cabbage Patch Kids did. You got yourself a cute plush dog in a variety of colors, some with spots, some without, that came in interesting packaging and official adoption papers. It was a huge hit, and like any toy which became a huge hit, it was inevitable that it would get a TV cartoon based on it. Produced by Hanna-Barbera in 1986, the Pound Puppies cartoon ran for 2 seasons. Since the toy line didn't have a canonical story attached to it, the creative team were basically allowed to do whatever they wanted with it, resulting in a comedy adventure show which, because Tom Ruegger served as one of the head writers, also featured pop culture parodies and a lot of fourth wall breaks.
Submitted for your approval. Katrina Stonehart's latest plan has failed.
The show primarily revolves around Holly's Puppy Pound, a dog shelter run by a young girl named Holly, who inherited the place from its founder, Millicent Trueblood. Holly, as revealed later, has the ability to communicate with the dogs because of puppy power, a nebulous MacGuffin which primarily means that dogs can be as anthropomorphized as needed to make the cartoon interesting. The 5 main puppies, Cooler, Nose Marie, Whopper, Bright Eyes, and Howler, work to find homes for every dog that comes through the pound, apparently through a massive network of other dogs, and pounds with assorted gizmos and whatnot to help them. Opposing the pound is Holly's aunt, Katrina Stoneheart, voiced by Pat Carroll. Katrina has an obnoxious daughter named Bratina and the obligatory hench cat, Catgut. Every episode generally features Katrina enacting some plan to get the pound closed down. Originally, Katrina's reasons for wanting the pound closed aren't clear, aside from, humorous 80s cartoon and bad guys are just bad guys for the sake of being bad guys.
I hate cute! I put cute in the blender.
But late in the first season, Katrina basically becomes a low-rent version of Cruella de Vil and wants to turn the dogs into coats. So, fairly standard comedy adventure cartoon stuff, right? Well, that's where Peter Cullen comes in. See, while a lot of cartoons in the 80s were designed to sell toys, most of the time the manufacturers of said toys didn't really care what the shows did in terms of storylines, as long as the basic concept behind the toy was there. Which meant that cartoon producers in the 80s also had the ability to throw whatever weird idea they wanted against the wall and see what stuck. Which led to Pound Puppies having one of the most incongruous characters ever seen in a show like this.
Captain Slaughter! What a pleasant surprise!
I've come for the dogs.
Yes, you heard that right. Captain Slaughter, Katrina's partner in slime. For 4 episodes in season 1 of the show, the captain showed up to terrify everyone he encountered and abduct as many dogs as he could get his cybernetic hand on.
And whatever you get paid for the mongrels, we split 50-50 as we agreed, right?
Agreed.
I'm sure you all remember my business associate, Captain Slaughter! Well, you seem agitated. Did something go wrong?
The dogs escape.
We never learn much about Slaughter, but what we do get is fairly intriguing. He first appears in the episode In Pups We Trust, but he doesn't play a huge role in the plot except to establish that he's partners with Katrina, Bratina has a crush on him, he's out to abduct dogs, and he and Cooler apparently have tangled in the past.
No, not the captain. Someday, Cooler. Someday.
We get more context for this relationship in later episodes. The captain and the cats bring Slaughter into a more central role as he abducts a bunch of dogs, and the puppies wind up teaming with a trio of cats who are looking for a friend of theirs that Slaughter also abducted. It's stated outright that the animals Slaughter sails off with never come back from wherever it is they go. Side note, this episode also features dialogue that, to this day, I have no idea how it got past standards and practices.
It's a lemonade. It's a panty rail. Oh, it's a barricade.
We finally learn Cooler's history with Slaughter in the episode Wagga Wagga, where Penelope, an old girlfriend of Cooler's, arrives at the pound after being chased by Slaughter. Why is Slaughter after her? Well, it turns out she escaped from Katrina's new factory with the instruction book for her latest acquisition of same.
The automatic puppy pelter!
Have I mentioned that 80s cartoons could get really dark in their own way without ever actually saying the characters are going to be horribly maimed? And the episode goes into an extended riff on Casablanca, with Wagga Wagga revealed to be a community of puppies that was all fine and dandy until Slaughter showed up and destroyed the place. Cooler and Penelope made a break for it, and Slaughter pursued them, with Cooler managing to lead him away from Penelope and onto the tracks of an oncoming train. You know how I just said that 80s cartoons could imply characters getting horribly maimed? You would only realize this is how Slaughter lost his hand if you were paying attention to the animation, because nobody says this is what happened. But it's pretty damn clear if you're paying attention. As far as the main story in the present for this episode goes, the writers actually got clever with the exposition. See, Whopper, the youngest of the main characters, is so named because he tells tall tales at the drop of a hat. Or if you want to be more accurate about it, he tells ridiculously obvious lies.
Where they imprison puppies. Yeah, puppies. And then they turn the puppies into Frankfurters. No, into fur coats, right?
Except this time, he's 100% right. That is exactly what is going on. Ultimately, the puppies rescue the other dogs being held captive by Katrina and Slaughter at the factory, including Penelope's husband and puppies, who were then later adopted. And it turns out Katrina and Slaughter can't use the automatic puppy pelter anyway, because the instruction book is written in Chinese.
Why did I ever study French?
Slaughter makes his final appearance in The Star Pup. Basically, according to puppy legend, dogs used to rule the world until the humans rose up against them, led by the evil Slotar. The dogs went off into the forest and found a bunch of kids who treated them nice, so the dogs shared puppy power with them, enabling communication. Legend also tells of the Star Pup, which will rise up and destroy all the evil in the world, and the Star Pup is recognizable by a heart-shaped birthmark.
It has a heart-shaped birthmark, and you call it the Star Pup. Makes absolutely no sense to me.
The three wise guys, who sound but do not look like the Marx Brothers for legal reasons, show up, and it seems Nose Marie is the Star Pup and may have to leave the pound on a worldwide journey to free puppy kind. Except, of course, Slaughter shows up and wants a coat made out of the Star Pup's hide, which means going after Nose Marie. Cooler comes to the rescue, and the puppies make a break for it, and when they get a breather, it turns out Nose Marie drew the mark on herself with makeup. Slaughter shows up, and both he and Cooler wind up going over a cliff. Both survive, of course, because comedy cartoon, and of course it also turns out that Cooler has the actual Star Pup birthmark, even though he apparently doesn't know it. If there were any plans to continue this plot thread, or any plans to bring back Captain Slaughter, they never happened. The second season retooled the show into the all-new Pound Puppies and went from one 22-minute story to two 11-minute stories per episode, with a couple of exceptions, and putting the focus more on the comedy aspects of the show. Captain Slaughter was never seen again, and the show was canceled after its second season. So, yeah. I don't really have any sort of closing thoughts on this. I just thought it'd be fun to talk about a genuinely interesting and terrifying villain that was awkwardly shoved into a comedy cartoon about talking dogs looking for a home. It just goes to show you that no matter how weird you think the 80s could get, there's always something out there to make you realize there's always something much weirder. Now, the only question is, do I dare inflict the horror that is Turbo Teen on you guys at some point in the future?
These lonely pound puppies need someone to love. Someone who'd love a little puppy love.
For you, Grandma.
Pound puppies are as cuddly as real puppies.
He'll keep you company in the dorm.
They're the perfect way to say I love you for birthdays, holidays, or any day. Pound puppies, so soft and adorably lonely. Sometimes the hardest thing about giving them
Happy Valentine's Day
is giving them up.
Pound puppy, you're my one and only puppy love.